video today is on three-dimensional figures, 3D, right? We live in a 3D world. So if I draw a 3D figure, here's a 3D figure, right? We can only see, at any one time, we can only see three sides of it, right? We can't see four sides. That's why we live in the third dimension. So these are polyhedrons. And polyhedrons have polygons as faces. And we know what polygons are. We talked about polygons before. So let's just review. Polygons, by the way, polygons are two-dimensional figures, 2D. Right? They're flat. They have no curves. And they have no openings. Right? And so, is this a polygon? No, because it has curves. A circle is not a polygon. So polyhedrons are just three-dimensional figures, and all their faces are polygons. Right? So what do I mean by faces? The faces are the sides. So let's look at this shape right here. This could be a cube or it could be a rectangular prism. So if it's a cube, we'll just call it a cube now, that means that every side is a square, if it's a cube. Right? And you know cubes. When you have dice, you have those cubes that you roll. Right? This could be dice, right? Well, if we want to make that dice, there we go. Could be dice, right? A cube. So let's make now a rectangular prism. Rectangular prism is just like a cube, but we have rectangles, right? So let's bring it over here. Right? We just make a rectangle. So they could have rectangles, they could have squares. This is a rectangular prism. So the faces, I said, were the sides. How many sides do you think are on this rectangular prism? What do you think? How many? Well, we have a front, right? And if we have a front, we should have a back. Right? If we have a left, that means we should have a right. What else is missing? Well, we have a bottom. That means we must have a what? A top. So there's six faces. Six faces. Or six sides. Now, right over here, where the lines meet, see the lines connect. Two lines or more connect. See these little dots I'm making? Those are, each dot is a vertex. It's the vertex. And the plural for vertex is vertices. Vertices. Alright, so how many vertex, how many vertices does the rectangular prism have? How many do you think? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's one you can't see. It's in the back. Right? So there's 8. 8 vertices, 6 faces. By the way, the lines that connect each vertex is just called the edge. Makes sense, right? The edge. So we created a cube over here. We created a rectangular prism over here. And there's many others we can create. Right? So let's look at some more prisms. All right, so here we are. So a prism has to have two congruent, remember, we went over this word already. Same shape, same size. Two congruent bases. And the rest will be rectangles or squares. And you should know that a square is actually a rectangle. So let's give an example. What if I draw this? So you should be familiar with this shape. Right? What is it? It's a hexagon, right? This is a hexagon. So that's a polygon. But we can make this hexagon, and you can follow along with me if you want. We'll make it a prism. So I made my rectangular square. Put a line not all the way down. Right? And then we'll just connect them. Now we have a hexagonal prism. So this is a hexagonal prism. It's a 6-sided prism. Now, the bases that are congruent. There's a top and a bottom that are congruent. They're hexagons, and the rest are rectangles or squares. So that's what a prism is. Unlike a pyramid, right? When we do a pyramid, the pyramid does not have two congruent bases. In fact, they only have one base. And the base could be a square, or the base could also be a triangle. So we'll talk about pyramids in a minute. Okay, so that's a hexagonal prism. What you want to do is when you're looking at prisms is look at the base and determine what shape it is, and that tells you what type of prism it is. All right? So for example, what if I gave you this? Gave you something like this. What shape do you think this is? Now it's not a pyramid, right? Right? It has a triangle though. What are the bases? What are the two congruent bases? Right here, the triangle. Right, I just said it. So this is a triangular. It's a triangular prism. Right? As opposed to the hexagonal. See, the hexagonal was a hexagon, and the triangular prism is a triangle. Also can see it like this. Right? Sometimes you see it like this. Looks like a tent. Sometimes the bases are not top and bottom. Sometimes the bases are front and back. So this is also a triangular prism. So let's look at this triangular prism for a minute. How many vertices does it have? So let's say it's like 1, 2, 3. How many else? 4, 5, and of course 1's in the back we can't see. So there are 6 vertices. 6 vertices. Okay. And how many faces or sides? How many faces does it have? Well, there's a front, there's a back, there's a left, there's a right. There's no top though, right? There's no top, but there is a bottom. So there's 5 faces. 5 faces or sides. And again, 2 are triangles because we said with a prism they have to have two congruent bases. Right? So again, if you see what the polygon is, you can determine again what type of prism it is. So, what do you think this is? I'll draw this. What is this? So, what do you think this is? Looks like a wedge, like a door stopper, right? What is the one thing, because they're all triangles, they're all rectangles, except for the 2, one here and one you can't see. So this is also a triangular prism. All right, let's do pyramids. And you know what pyramids are. I think we all know pyramids. So we can draw one if you want to draw along with me. We have, it looks like a rhombus. Right, you can draw something like this. Boom, there's your pyramid. Right? And you can clean it up a lot. It's a little messy to clean that up, but there we go. I'll cut off the sides. So this is a square or rectangular pyramid because it has a rectangular base. And remember, pyramids can only have one base, not 2 congruent bases, only one base, and the rest are triangles, right? So the base shape could be any other shape, and it could be a triangle too. So this is a rectangular, or it could be a square pyramid, right? Like the one in the Giza Plateau in Egypt. But then the base, I said, could be any shape, right? It could be a triangle. So if you make a triangle, right, and then you make another triangle, connect it, right? There is a triangular pyramid. Triangular, right? Has a triangle for a base. All of them are triangles, right? By the way, a triangular pyramid is a tetrahedron. Fancy term. Tetrahedron is a triangular pyramid. But they don't have to be triangles. They don't have to be squares or rectangles. They can also be any polygon, right? So let's say we made this weird shape. We should know what this is. We did it before. It's a hexagon, right? And we can make this long kind of hexagonal pyramid. So you can make a hexagonal pyramid. You can make an octagonal one. You can make the regular one, right? We can even, let's see, what do we do here? If I make this line, draw this line with me, make 2 lines, right? And then let's clean it up a little bit. Clean that up, clean that up, clean that up. And then cut this together and we can make, look, now we have a pyramid floating on top of a trapezoidal pyramid. Trapezoidal pyramid. So there's many things you can do, especially in art. And you don't have to be an artist. If you practice this, it's all math. You can be good at it also. So we talked about prisms and pyramids today. Those are 3D shapes, and there's other 3D shapes we'll talk about in the next video. Great job.